So, hi guys, and welcome to yet another video here on the YouTube channel Spillforeningen the Fellowship. You are here with the host Andreas Norwegian Viking.
And I'm Wild.
And today we are announcing the winner of our scenario competition for the SPG Grand campaign. So, as you will see this coming Saturday, we will play the fantastic scenario written to us by a wonderful subscriber. He actually wrote 2 scenarios for us. And we chose one of them, not only because we had the models for it, but also because I found it to be the best written ones. So out of the submissions we got, congratulations to the winner, David Leonard. I believe you are from Australia.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
Member of the league down in Australia, yeah. So, what did we like about the scenario? Well,
it was very good written scenario with emphasis on all the chariots. All the chariots are in, and it is against a very little Rohan force, and it's also a very good narrative that connects it to the storyline we're doing as well. So that is a very complete scenario.
I think that was a bit of a coincidence, though.
Yeah.
That one scenario we received ties in very closely to our narrative, because the campaign is the birth of Rohan, of course, the batch we're doing now, and in that we follow the story of El de Jong, the first king of Rohan. So this battle can be tied into just before, during, or after the field of Kellebrandt's battle. Yeah. So we felt that including that in our campaign just after the field of Kellebrandt, which you would have seen this last Saturday, was very fitting indeed. So the story is basically, the scenario is called The Imperialment of Lady Eleanor, which is in our narrative, that is the wife of Earl.
No,
the daughter.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. She's trying to prove herself to her father, but her father isn't very trusting.
No. So in the story we'll see Lady Eleanor, who has a small honor guard.
Yeah.
Behind with the supply train, maybe, and you will see a very fast, very agile canned force using all the chariots, the 16 chariots, to basically try to capture her or kill her. So the participants of the scenario, you'll of course find the scenario on our webpage, spillforeningenthefellowship.wordpress.com. We'll upload it in there, and the participants are Lady Eleanor, which is represented by the Ewan profile, without any armor, without any shield, so just a sword. Sadly, in the scenario we will see we did not have the unarmored Ewan model to represent her, but it's still Ewan. You will see a captain with shield on foot. All models of Rohan is on foot. 6 Rohan Royal Guard with throwing spears, and 6 Warriors Rohan with shield, which of one of them can be given banner. So there's a very small Rohan force. In addition to this, you will have 2 King's Huntsmen.
Yeah.
And those are the most important parts of the scenario, I feel. Yeah. On the other side, there are of course 2 kings on chariot, 2 Candish kings on chariots, and there's also 14 canned chariots, and 50% of the chariots can be given bows.
Yeah.
In the coming scenario, we'll see that we have given bows to both canned kings and to 5 other chariots, which is the models that Maris Ruud had available. So yeah, that's the participants. Should we talk about the layout of the scenario?
Yeah. In the middle, in the exact middle, it's played on a 4x6 foot table, and in the middle, Lady Eleanor is deployed. And then all of the Rohan warriors and the Royal Guard is deployed within 6 inches of her.
And the captain.
And the captain, yeah. And then you divide the count force into 4 groups, and you can deploy each of these 4 groups along one of each table edge.
And only one Can King can be included in each of the forces, so you can't have both Can Kings deployed in the same group, that is. And there's a special deployment tactic, or not tactic, rules. So you deploy Lady Eleanor and her on guard first, and then the canned player deploys all his or her chariots, and then nominates one of the table edges, either short or long, to be the escape point. So I would recommend the evil player nominate one of the short table edges, so it's farther for Lady Eleanor to go off, about 35 inches. And then you deploy the 2 King's Huntsmen separately, anywhere on the table. So they can have a proper position to snipe from and do the most damage.
They can react to the Khan player's deployment, because the King's Huntsman is the King's distrust, whereas he doesn't believe his daughter will be able to make it on her own, so he sends his 2 King's Huntsmen to watch over her, and I think he did the right thing, because in this scenario, with the King's Huntsman special rule, regaining might while killing monsters and or heroes.
So
it's very good.
We'll talk a bit about the special rules afterwards. But first we have the scenario victory conditions. So Lady Eleanor has to escape the board. So as soon as she touches the board edge, the good side have won. And this can be achieved, well, moving into the table edge, but it can also be achieved by being pushed back after losing a combat, or even during a heroic combat. So in several ways, and also if she is pushed into the table edge, the opposing player may of course strike if they didn't shield, of course, but Cam doesn't have any shields, so that's impossible in this scenario. So of course she will receive those strikes before, and if she dies, she hasn't really touched the table edge yet. So that's happening after combat is resolved proper. So that's the general victory condition. So she can achieve this by several means, using marching, using heroic combats, maybe deploying the King's Huntsmen so that they can add their might to heroic moves and stuff like that in the late game, because you will probably see that both Rohan main force and the canned force will lose might quite fast in this game. So the King's Huntsman's ability to regain the points might be crucial to that.
Yeah, and against an all monstrous cavalry army, they're quite effective.
So the special rules in the scenario are all written for the King's Huntsman. So there isn't really much like a special rule more than a clarification to the main rules of the game, which defines that the chariot, that the in the way roll, the King's Huntsman have a special 2+ in the way, and that can be applied to hitting the rider instead of the mount. Of course, that's the way we usually play it anyway, but as well, that the horse rider is an in the way roll that can be re-rolled. But the scenario clarifies that very particularly. And then you have also that the chariots are a monster, so they regain might, and the 2 kings are then again hero monsters, and thus will regain them 2 points might. if they manage to kill them.
Mm.
So it's clarifying this bit.
Yeah, I think it's a good clarification because if you aren't too familiar with the King's Huntsman, you understand how the scenario can work. Because count is about twice the points.
Yeah, there's 600 points exactly,
Yeah.
and in our version, at least, it could be 602 points, I think, maximum.
Close,
But and Ron is about 300, I believe.
But it's still a balanced. It seems to be a balanced scenario based on the victory conditions and the special rules of the King's Huntsman and the way it's deployed.
So the reason we picked this scenario to be the winner was that it had a very clear narrative.
Yep.
There was a good story behind it, about a half page of fluff basically for the scenario, which is awesome. There was a good layout of the scenario. It wasn't like we had to rewrite the whole thing and export it to a PDF. It looked fantastic, David, so thanks for that. It had a very clear cut rules. It had rules clarifications, and it seems to be written for the particular models. So it wasn't just a scenario where we have to play with 16 chariots, so we'll try to do a force that could do away with 16 chariots. You utilize two very, very cool models that we hardly ever see in the King's Huntsman, that has a particular effect on this particular army. So it was just a great written scenario with something you don't see every day, and maybe people will see the benefit of the King's Huntsman more, as with monsters being more utilised in some tournament plays as well. So that could be very cool indeed. So any more thoughts before we go and play the scenario? No. So of course you will see that in this you won't see while playing.
No.
Reason for this, and a big apology, is that something happened with the memory card during our filming of the main batch. So both this, we filmed this once before, and the actual scenario is lost somewhere in the gigabytes.
Yeah.
And basically me and Marius played the scenario again this last weekend. So I got to play 2 times. Woo!
Yeah. And you played good.
And I played good. And will play good.
You will, will play.
This Saturday. I will play good. So yeah, it's quite awesome to actually be able to play good for once. Meanwhile, has a small theory that when we're finally done with the grand campaign, we'll just switch sides.
Yeah.
So I'll take good and you'll take evil.
Just restart it.
Yeah, so we can continue for 5 more years,
Yeah.
making a 10-year plan instead of 5 years. That would be awesome.
And you can paint some good models, and I can paint some good models.
Yeah. Then we'll suddenly have painted every single model in existence by that time. So that's cool. We'll play the scenario and we'll come back with our original reactions to playing the game, because we won't bother filming that because I think the reactions are more genuine when we've actually played the scenario. So we rewatched the footage from the original filming of the reactions, and we think it's very generic, so it will fit in to how I will play the scenario the second time.
Yeah.
But then again, the scenario is so good, I would not have any problems with playing it like 4 or 5 more times at all. So we'll see you after the game. So we just played the game.
We did.
And it was so fun.
It was really fun.
Anyone with a chariot army, looking at you, J. Claire, will want to play this scenario. It was balanced. It was fun. I would love to play this like 3, 4, 5 more times.
Yeah.
To change up the terrain a bit, change up the the way we play it.
Yeah, and you can set up there's 4 board edges, and the edges are long, so you can deploy a lot of places.
Yeah, and the difference with where you place the chariots, because you can basically place the chariots and dictate where the goods side has to move.
Yeah.
But then you also have to think about, okay, where do they come in? Do you have to make a big frontage that they have to break through? Can the huntsman make a hole?
Yeah.
So yeah, we won't spoil the results. I think this will be up on the Wednesday before the scenario goes up.
Saturday.
On Saturday. So
12
yeah,
o'clock.
12 o'clock British time.
Yeah, it was really fun,
Yeah.
and it feels very balanced. There are good counters. The chariots are a good counter against the footmen of Rohan. The King's Huntsmen are a good counter against the chariots.
Yeah.
Throwing weapons are good.
Throwing weapons are good if you get to hit the rider, which you do on a 5+. Throwing weapons win on 5+.
Yeah.
There's 2 5+s.
Yeah.
And if you don't move, it's a 4+, 5+, 5+, to kill the chariot. And I think it's good.
Absolutely.
Foot run as well. You don't play that many times. All foot models in one, and all just because this King's Huntsman is one of the most underutilized troops in the game. You never see it, basically, unless you're like Tom and Damien doing a 50-point bat rep, because it's exactly 50 points. But you don't meet many monsters in a 50-point bat rep. So yeah.
That was very, very fun. So very good scenario.
Do recommend it. Yep. We'll play again.
Yep. We will put it up on our webpage, spillföreningenthefellowship.wordpress.com.
Wordpress.com, yeah.
We'll put the link in the description below, so check that out. So all credit to David.
Yeah. And he also sent us another scenario.
Yeah.
He actually sent us 2 scenarios. So he had 2 contributions in this contest, and the other one is called Fury Road.
Yeah.
We'll put that up as well, I think.
Yeah.
Which was basically 2 chariot armies against each other in a race to get over a very, very narrow, very long table.
Yeah.
And there was 2 mummuks on the other side.
Yeah.
So that seems a bit fun, but we didn't have 2 mummuks available, and this seemed a bit more balanced, to be honest.
Yeah.
But cool scenario nonetheless, Dave, for that one. So yeah. So please check in on Saturday at 12 GMT, and to see how this scenario was played. Fits very well with our story.
Absolutely.
And everything. And as always, please comment, like, share and subscribe.
And support your hobby.